Yesterday we had the exercise to reflect on impermanence. So that's one way to reflect on impermanence. Did you all try? Did you all try? So the difference between reflection and direct seeing is that you do reflection on things that is not happening at the moment. Yeah. Observe direct seeing is as it happens, you observe it as it's happening. That's a key difference. Yeah. So reflection is a very powerful tool because at our current stage, for the most part, as it's happening, we can't see it. So it allows us to do after the fact. Okay. So after the fact, then we can reflect on it. And by doing so, then it um, it can help us to look at it differently, such that in future, uh, uh, even though it has not had come around yet, yeah, we would have related to it slightly differently, yeah, and then over time, slightly, then one day completely differently, and then then you become one of the Sotapana. Then one day Sakadagami, Anagami, and then Arahan. Yeah. So remember the first question is 100 years from now, will it still be around? Will it still matter? Okay, second question, 100 years before, does it exist? Yeah. So then from there we can see it doesn't exist, and then at some point it exists, then at some point it doesn't exist. So then you go to the, then it's like a, like scrolling. Then you scroll to the point where from don't exist to exist. Okay. Then you ask yourself, does it come into existence without conditions? That means just pop out of existence. Yeah. Does it pop into existence just like that? Or because of certain things happening before that, then this thing come into existence? Which is it? Most likely, that thing come into existence when there are suitable conditions, right? If there are no conditions and it can come into existence, then why didn't it happen earlier? Yeah. Why did it happen only at that point in time? I'm highlighting this because sometimes when we go and reflect, we may not be able to uh, accurately or precisely identify those conditions that led to its existence or arising. Yeah. And it may then cause us to draw the wrong conclusion that, oh, it just happened. It just happened like that. Uh, but then you can ask the second question, which is, if it doesn't require conditions, then why that time? Why that time? Yeah, so if you manage to then reflect and know that, okay, due to various conditions, then it means that this thing exists due to these conditions. Yeah. Now, at this point, don't worry whether you are able to list out exhaustively all the conditions. Okay. If you can list out three, then you just know that there's these three. Then later on, when you revisit that 人事物, that person or relationship, uh, matter or things, you may find that, oh, actually you miss out something else. It's okay, then add it in. Then you add it in. So as you do that, then uh, due to the conditions, then this thing happen. Yeah. Then you can also check on those conditions. If you take out, how do you know that these are the exhaustive conditions? Let's say there are only three conditions you found. Then you ask yourself, if you take out one condition, could it have still happened? Yeah. Or if you put in other conditions, can it still happen? sometimes the absence of certain conditions is the condition. So then after that, you ask yourself, in each of these conditions, can you find independently that thing that has happened? Yeah, in each of these conditions, let's say there are only 3, then can you find anything about the outcome independently in these conditions? That's to say, you then fast forward to the point where it ceases to exist. Okay, yeah, and at the point where it ceases to exist, were the conditions all still present? Yeah, in exactly the same way. Yeah, if it still exists, then something is wrong. Yeah, and if you cannot find that, if you cannot find that thing existing, once you remove one of them, yeah, then it means that it cannot be found in any of them. Yeah, it cannot be found in any of them. Then you can be even more thorough, examine each of them independently. Take out each of them independently and put it aside and say, originally it was A arising. Then you have B, C, D, E, F, G conditions. Then you take out B, then you ask yourself, is A equals to B? Then is A equals to C? Is A equals to D, and so on. I mean, don't mind me, I always use A, B, C. seems very impersonal, but you substitute with whatever conditions you can think of, okay? So if you find that, okay, inside all those conditions, you cannot find the resultant entity, then we say that the entity doesn't have any inherentness. No inherentness. It is void of inherentness. It's empty of inherentness. It's empty of inherent nature. Hence, empty in nature. Yeah, because you cannot find any of its nature within the conditions. If it cannot be found within conditions, much less outside, right? Yeah, if you say, oh, but maybe it's outside, then if it's outside, it should have arise due to something outside. So what is that outside? Yeah. So if you can reflect in this way, then we say that thing is empty in nature. And then plus the front part, dependent arising, together is dependent arising, empty in nature. 缘起有自性空. Okay. So 无常、苦、空、无我. Yeah. Or 无常、无我、空. These 3 are actually one thing. Yeah. It's not 3 things. Yeah. But if you grasp onto it, then you got problem. Okay. 新年快乐，吉祥，福慧增长，阿弥陀佛。
谢谢师父，
新年快乐，谢师父。
哇，你看，大红大绿。